Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the podcast. I am here today with a second-time guest, our buddy Kriner, one of the literal most magical wizards of this game that exists in real life. So, Kriner, thank you so much for coming back. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me back. When you reached out, it was no brainer. I remember your podcast with Bob Kendrick, and that was what really made me watch. And I know you just had Nutsy, Scan, and some other guys on. So,
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. The reason, well, not the reason I reached out, just so people know the backstory. I matched up with Kriner in BR, which is never a fun time. I was 7-0. And thankfully, this is people are going to think it's this copium, but I was only trying to go 7-0 because I just wanted the damn 10 points for the BR program. I have such little interest in BR this year. It's not for me this year. Last year, I went flawless 20 times. This year, I don't know. It's just not fun for me right now. So I got to my 7-0 and I was like, well, I'm here. Let's just try for 3 more. Bingo, bango. Kriner pops up on the screen. I only lost 8-6, and I feel like they should credit me a win for that. So that's where I'm going to stop. So me and him DM'd after the game is what I'm talking about.
yeah, I remember I was up like 8-1, and in the third inning, you scored like 5, had the winning run up. So
I
you
did
got
have
a
the
bit
winning run
worried
up, and
there.
then I
Yeah.
completely flubbed the at-bat that had the winning run. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it was a good game. And so then we got to talking. I was like, you know what? Now's a good time to get you back on the pod. It's been a while. So we're going to talk today about just, the state of the game as we always do. I just want to begin today with a little story. So I'm recording this on July 10th, a little bit more ahead of time than I normally do. You guys are listening to this on Tuesday, the 16th. So I matched up today in ranked seasons or solo ranked, whatever they want us to call it now, with Cleveland Guardian shortstop Brian Rocchio, 23 years old, exciting play. I don't know if we consider him a prospect so much anymore, but he had his real 99. He was 31-6. Doesn't play a lot of ranked, but that's a good ranked record. He was Hall of Fame difficulty. He was rated 830 something, 822. I got to go back and check. So he offered me a friendly quit. I said no. I had friendly quitted a bunch of people already today, and it's a chance to play an MLB player. It's like, why would I friendly quit that? So he's a good player. He was hitting the ball. He's a hitter, so he has a phenomenal eye. Like, I was throwing pitches just off the black. I guess on Hall of Fame, it's easier to take whatever. He impressed me. It gets to the top of the third. He's the home team. I had just tied the score at 2. I hit a lazy, looping line out to right field with Trey Turner. He hit the cutoff man. The game froze. That was it. Now, the caveat being that it was definitely a little choppy of a connection because at the day of this game, Cleveland was in Detroit playing the Tigers, and I can only assume he was on Detroit hotel Wi-Fi. If he had hooked up hardwire, I would have been stunned. So you guys can go to my Twitter and check the saga that unfolded. I pinned the tweet and the ensuing thread to the top. He requested me on PSN. He messaged me. He's like, "Are you still in this game?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro, we're frozen." And then we went back and forth. I told him his Wi-Fi sucked. He laughed. So we were frozen for like almost 4 hours. And then right at about 4 o'clock, I'm presuming when he had to go to the field to warm up for his 6:40 start time, he quit. So I got the win. We win these, but that was fun. Kriner, have you ever played Brian, or have you ever played any real 99s before?
Yeah, I've played a couple real 99s. The most notable was I played Luis Garcia, the Astros pitcher,
Oh,
and
cool.
I think I won like 15-1-4. I felt bad. And I tweeted it out, and then the tweet blew up. I think MLB The Show actually retweeted it, and I actually DM'd with him a bit on Instagram. Really cool guy. But I have a really good friend in the community, Harrison Cohen. He's pitching in the minors for the Yankees. We
Oh,
just
nice.
randomly played, and we talk like every day. And I actually got to see him in spring training in his first outing with the big league team. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I've been able to meet a couple pro guys, and that's been one of the coolest things. And just like in rain, like I think I played Luis Garcia at like 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. Like I was just not really in it. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I know he's really good at the game. And Andy Pajes is another guy.
Oh, of course.
I
Yeah.
actually met him in Pittsburgh, and he gave me a signed bat. So that was really cool also.
Andy's on my dynasty team. Um, I faced a few guys in like BR, but sometimes it's hard to tell who they are. They have the real 99
Yeah.
icon, but in BR, like, you don't know who it is. I played 2 years ago Cardinals catcher Ivan Herrera,
Mhm.
and I lost. I had a real shit game. Ivan was not great either. He took me to Forbes in the rain. So that
I
tells you
respect
the
it.
type of player Ivan Herrera is. He beat me by like a run or two. But it's cool playing the real 99. Whenever that icon pops up, it's fun.
Mhm.
Um, so let's just, I just want to get that story out of the way. I thought it was fun. I thought the podcast audience would like it. Again, go on Twitter if you want to see like full details. I did video updates every hour on what was going on. But Kriner's here to talk about the game. And so I want to let everybody know, for some reason, if they don't know who Kriner is, um, it is not hyperbolic to say he's one of the, I, I mean, easily one of the 10 best players, probably one of the 5 best players. By the end of July or the early August, he could end up being the #1 top player based on the Rays tournament that's going on. He'll be going to Tampa to play in the semifinals of that. I mean, he's won dollars upon dollars playing this game. He's been a circuit champion by MLB The Show standards. Kriner's the man. So when Kriner and I have this conversation, it's coming from a place more so from Kriner, a little bit from me, of like a true competitive standpoint of playing the game at the highest or close to highest difficulty and seeing how the game plays. So what I want to do is just give you the floor, kind of just to give me off the bat, like, what are your thoughts truly on gameplay? Maybe less so content for you. I'm sure you care more about the gameplay than the content itself, but just let me know what you're thinking.
Yeah, the first thing is a lot of people think that about me, but I care way more about content than gameplay.
Interesting. Okay.
I actually care more about game modes, and that's really my biggest gripe with this game is we haven't had anything new since MLB 17 with events,
Mhm.
and it's just, I mean, it's the same recycled content every year with ranked BR. I mean, we go 10-0 with 12-0, we get a 90 overall. A big problem I had early in the year and now is a 10-win reward goes for like 4K,
Yeah,
and
it
it's the
stinks.
most random thing. I mean, coming from a comp player, it's hard to go 10-1, and a lot of people will agree with me, and I just think going 10-1 and getting 4K stubs. I mean, you can go enjoy your Jose Altuve gold card. I think he's a gold, but that's just an example. This game is in desperate need of a new mode, and I
Big
want a
time.
competitive mode, and I think a lot of people don't realize a competitive mode can also be fun for the casual player. If you look at Madden, a lot of casuals played weekend league. It doesn't just need to be catered for the top 100 players. What I would do is 15 games, 9 innings. You can even do it on Hall of Fame. I'm not a huge component that it needs to be legend. If you look at weekend league and Madden, it's on All Pro, and All Madden's the hardest one. So it doesn't even need, I just want good rewards in a mode that's rewarding. Like, say you go 15-0, you should get, I don't know, a special reward. That's really my biggest thing is when you get to 900 and ranked, why do you play? An icon at 1,000 every
I
season?
don't. I make
I
900 and I promptly stop.
a 20 bundle and a 50 bundle. At this point, all comp guys have a million stubs. That means nothing to us. So, and I just look at anyone like, do they really want to get to World Series for a 92 overall in July? And I wasn't really a big, or I actually enjoyed the reset. Like I enjoyed using 89s last month, but it's just like, I think the whole sets idea is just terrible to me. What I would do is I'm not a huge content guy. Like I'm not gonna act like I know it all, but I start out the game with the highest overalls being like 87 and just work their way up. You don't need
Mhm.
to reset it. I don't even want 99s until July or August. If that's, I would do it like the Madden way. Like they don't release 99s until after the Super Bowl, I think, or maybe like the first 99s during the Super Bowl. I mean, we don't need to be obsessed with 99 overalls, and I just think having a gradual process will keep the game fresh. But what do I know?
I think I wholeheartedly agree with basically everything you said. One of my biggest problems with MLB The Show lately, the last few years, and it's not even. I mean, I started liking sets and seasons. I thought it had potential, and now I've come to the other side where I don't think it can work necessarily with the way that they're doing it. But my biggest problem is that they have structured the game no matter what mode you're playing, other than I guess like franchise, because that is so offline. And that's
Mhm.
not me taking a cheap shot. That's just me saying franchise is fundamentally a different thing. But every single Diamond Dynasty mode, even storylines, because it's tied to Diamond Dynasty, is you do A, you receive B. Everything in this game is the expectation where if I perform, if I do it, if I reach a goal, I get this. I see why it's done, because it's meant in theory to incentivize playing whatever the mode is. But I think SDS and the community has gotten so preconditioned to just like, all right, I'm going to release this thing and boom, you're going to get a card. It leads to failure. It leads to so much failure because there are inevitably going to be cards that just stink, or they don't fit the boost that's meta, or they, whatever it is. They try to make a card like it's a joke, but like the Tristan McKenzie card. The Tristan McKenzie card is built like a Tristan McKenzie pitcher. The problem is that doesn't translate in any fashion to the online world. So with something like a weekend league or whatever, like an adjacent competitive league would be, I think SDS need, and talking about how the BR rewards stink, the 10-win rewards, I think SDS needs to start implementing, if you do this, it's not a card, it's not a wild card slot, it's stubs or XP. Give us a stub reward, give us an XP reward. It doesn't have to be super massive, but I think shifting away from just only doing card rewards can actually help this game a lot.
I agree, and I'm keep going back to Madden, and I want to make it clear that I don't agree with everything EA does. I'm not here to defend them, but I just like how their content's spaced out, and it's just, I mean, nothing has changed. Like ranked seasons every month, woo, the top 50 icon. I mean, I just feel like I'm playing MLB The Show 20 times 4. I mean, there's like nothing different, and my biggest problem, and I love storylines. I really enjoyed playing through it, but that can't be your biggest addition to the game. And I don't want that to come off the wrong way. The Negro Leagues has been super cool. I have no problem with the Jeter storylines. I can tell they put a ton of effort into it, but it's fun for a week. And like the Negro League storylines took about 4 hours, I think. I mean,
yeah,
it's just, it's going to last a week.
Yeah, if your biggest update is something that can literally be completed in a day, or, every time there's an update, another hour, like that's, I agree with you there. And again, I don't think anyone hears that and thinks you're taking a cheap shot at the league. I think that's just a fact.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. Like I love having the cards, like Josh Gibson and BR. It's unbelievable. That card. I mean, his swing is great,
Yeah.
and I enjoy it. Like I learned a lot about history, but like it's just it can't be your big like selling point for a game in 2024. Maybe in like 2004 when there was no online, but I just have a problem with that being their main focus is offline stuff.
The last time they introduced something new to Diamond Dynasty was mini seasons, and I know that's not online, but it's so evident that fell so flat so fast. And I know there's a community of people that play mini seasons, and us saying this is not like disparaging you guys. Play whatever gives you joy. Play whatever you guys like. But I think SDS had intended for that to make a larger impact more globally than it actually did. And so, it is to the point where I do think the playing experience and how we interact with the game needs to fundamentally change. Like, I don't know if you have to strip it down to bare bones and start over, but I'm in favor of removing stuff. Like, March to October, see you later. Mini seasons, see you later. I'm almost done with Conquest. Like it's time to just give this thing a fresh skin and rejuvenate us a little bit. At least give us something different to do.
My main problem with mini seasons, I have not seen one person, and I try to follow as many people on Twitter, not just comp scene. I don't know what person that doesn't play mini seasons just for XP. I mean, the card you get in mini seasons is terrible. Like, if they put like a 99 Frank Thomas in mini seasons, you'd see me running into. I would be the biggest mini seasons player of all time. But the content sucks, and that's really my biggest thing. Is the content offline is terrible. Like, I mean, I'm not playing Conquest for last year. I think there was a KREW in Conquest, like maybe, but like I mean, there's no reason for someone to play Conquest. Like I just like in MLB 17, or it was 16. They had like an Ichiro and Conquest. I'm forgetting cards, but they had some amazing cards. And,
real things.
yeah, I mean, and now it's just like, oh, here's your Shark Conquest map with maybe you'll get 5 ballin as a habit. can we please get rid of balling as a habit packs? I promise you they're the worst packs in the game.
Yeah, they
That might
stink.
be my main problem with the game. They've been here since 17. I don't think I pulled 5 diamonds
What happened
out
to
of
the
like
ball and out of
200.
control packs? Those were fun.
Yeah, and another thing is the content in packs. It's not content. You're just putting like I'm not. I like the Nico Goodrum they released. I like it, but it's the definition of lazy to show classics. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I could really. I'm not a developer, but I mean, so many cards they've released this year are just old cards from previous years. And again, I'm fine with it. Like that Nico Goodrum is amazing, but like, can we get something fresh? Like the show classics volume 4. I mean, come on, please.
Yeah. And guys, when we talk about like a fresh skin of the game, and removing things and adding things, I approach it from a holistic standpoint. Like, of course, I almost exclusively play Diamond Dynasty because that's just where my interest lies. But we all know offline needs some help.
Mhm.
Franchise, based on all the feedback I've seen online and the fun, it seems like franchise is in a much better place than it was a year or two ago. Is it perfect? I'm sure it's not. Trade logic is still probably ridiculous, but the ability to set when you enter games has really added to the speed and the flow and the pace. And I think franchise in a good place. I think Road to the Show needs a ton of work. Um, I would love to play a Road to the Show, but I will not play it in its current iteration because it doesn't pull me in. I do think offline needs something else on top of those two modes. What that answer is,
Road,
I couldn't tell you, but it needs something.
yeah, Road to the Show has so much potential, and I don't think they cared about it since when did they add like cutscenes? 18, 19? I mean,
Yeah, but
I
even the
swear
cutscenes are like they are
they're the most
cutscenes,
boring
but they
things ever.
stink.
Like, I just think like NBA 2K like 10 years ago, the my career, oh my God, it was so fun. But now I just swear it's just like, we'll copy and paste it, I guess. I just think it could be so fun. And I know I'm a competitive player, but before I played DD, I played a ton of Road to the Show when I was younger, and I didn't know any better. But I just think they can make it so cool. But and again, that might just be something that's cool for a couple weeks and then dies. But still, I feel like there's not a lack of effort, but like a lack of understanding on what everyone wants. Like I just feel like they're adding stuff that's not not a lot of people are excited for. And I just think like even franchise, like they put a lot of work into it, but I think they could do a lot more with it.
Oh, for
And I'm
sure.
not someone against like offline modes. Like a lot of people like have this assumption that like comp players only care about ranked seasons. I look at it like the whole game, and I just think there's so much missed opportunity. Like mini game, I played MVP Baseball '05 a couple weeks ago, and that's the most fun I've had playing a baseball video game in years. And I just think there's so much little things they can add. And I don't think that would make the game die. Like I know people would be playing like for mini games, like I think people would just try to keep going higher and higher and higher. And I don't
Remember,
think that would
remember
die.
King, is it called King of the Diamond was the mini game from one of the early MLB The Shows where there's like all these like flashy, shiny things in the outfield and targets and fielders you got to hit. I used to abuse that mode. And what did you get for playing it? Enjoyment. You got literally nothing else.
Yeah, and I played like the bigs at John Boy, and it was like hitting in Times Square. Like we don't need all of that, but like it's just something like fun to do. There's nothing offline that's fun. Like go play
That's
franchise.
I'm
I mean,
so happy you said that because that's one of my big things is like I know with the way gamers, specifically sports gamers, the way we're all wired today is like I said before, you do X, you receive Y. If I play this well, I'll get this thing. That leads to a very transactional relationship with the game. Because even if you're not paying money, like it's still a transaction. If you do this, if you give this, you get this. I think that is hurting all of our mental with playing these games. And not everybody has this problem. Maybe it's just an online player problem. If you're just an offline player, I'm glad your mental health is better than mine. But I just think we need to get back to some of these games just being fun because they're fun. Like, of course, I want to use my favorite players. Of course, I want to get a Mercy and ranked. But like, it's missing the man. I just have an itch to play this today. Like factor. It hasn't had that in a while.
yeah, I haven't had an itch to play this game in 3 years, and
Yeah.
I know
See,
that's like harsh to admit, but if I wasn't good at this game, I would barely play, and I still don't play as much as I used to. And MLB The Show 19 is when I started becoming pretty good at the game, and I just wanted to like play. I played. That's the only game I played year round, and 20, I got kind of tired of it, but I think everyone did when you're locked in your house for months. But
That's all I did. That's what
yeah,
started this content creation. But yeah, I mean, when you're locked in your house, that's all you got to do.
yeah, and I mean, it's just the same things every year, and maybe it's just I'm getting old, but I'm so excited to play a fresh game and say, and I'm not just going to sidetrack to that, but I just think like offline, going back to that, has so much opportunity. And I know NCAA is different because of dynasty, recruiting, and all of that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we're almost like too focused on DD to a fault. And my biggest problem is they've become so pay to win this year, and they won't. I'm not taking shots. Like I get it. The whole like the business is business. You're trying to make the most money you can, but it's the way they're doing it. Like
Mhm.
they're trying to like I don't know, just like come off as like they're not becoming pay to win. And they're releasing terrible cards and packs, and it's not how I would do it. Like if you're gonna be
Yeah.
pay to win, like put some good cards in the packs that make me want to buy it. Not I don't know that chase pack, the one door. Like I
Ugh.
can't wait to go spend 70, 50 real US dollars to go get that one door. I just can't wait.
Someone made a really good point in my Discord, and I apologize because I don't recall who it is, but you'll know who you are if you're listening. Um, I think SDS thought that with sets and seasons, there would be more urge to spend real money to upgrade your team because you'll be at such a disadvantage with these lower cards. But I think after season one, what the player base has learned is that these cards, A, get phased out really fast because it's not just a power creep, it's an accelerated power creep.
Mhm.
And two, with the way they ended last season, which I enjoyed and I'm not complaining about, they force fed us all the old stuff and it made it so cheap. Why would I spend 150,000 stubs on the Paul Skeens that comes out when 4 weeks from now he's 8,000 stubs? Like, there's no reason to. So, the pay to win model doesn't work with sets and seasons. I don't think like they intended it. It probably works better in a season or a title long, a year long power creep, like back to the old days, what it used to be.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
one of
like the
my
pay to
other
win, but I agree with your idea about better cards and packs too.
yeah, my one of my biggest problems is someone could spend like 2 grand on stubs the day before season 2 comes out and they can use one card. Like
Yeah.
if you just like think about that for a second, like are you like that's very wrong morally, in my opinion. Like a lot of people play this game and aren't diehards and don't realize like season 2 was coming out in 2 days. Some people will just, oh, I'll drop $100 and buy some cards. And a lot of them aren't usable the next day. So that's something that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, but I just think like morally is very incorrect.
Yeah, and with the way that they implemented and have stuck to the XP cap, I know they've
Mhm.
been better really since the end of season one about giving us XP, and I'm appreciative of that, and I'm glad they at least listened a little bit to that. I there's something there's something wrong with demanding that people come on just to hit this arbitrary cap that they've come up with. Otherwise, they'll never keep up with the good theoretic good content at the end of the XP path.
Mm,
And
that-
again, they've accelerated it, and the cards are actually good. Like, I'm excited to get there when I get there, but I miss the days of the old XP path. There's so much of the old days I miss, and maybe it's just because I'm getting old and I'm get off my lawn at this point in my life. But I just it doesn't sit right with me the way the game is structured.
Yeah, they had the XP path perfect in MLB The Show 20, and they
Hmm.
changed it for no particular reason. I found it so fun when you want bronze, silver, gold, prestige, or gold, diamond, prestige. I don't know why we needed to change that. I just feel like they're trying like too hard to make something like better, but that was how they should have done it. Like there was no cap. You just played and you kept going. And with the cap, like I just think it's just dumb to me. And especially like you're gonna be able to use this who even I can't even remember the card. Griffey, Chipper, and
And Roy
Holiday for a
Halladay,
couple
yeah.
weeks. I mean, like, why? Like, what's the point? I have so many problems with how they're spacing the content out.
Yeah, and again, they've made some better decisions to alleviate some of these things. I really like how they gave us lesser versions of those bosses throughout the
Mhm.
path because
Yeah,
at
same.
least you're getting the opportunity to play with the player. And those
Mhm.
cards, the bosses, for what they're rated, they don't stink. The Griffies
Mhm.
kind of stink. The other ones are okay.
Yeah, I don't think the Griffey's terrible. It's just I don't like his swing. But
That's where
and
I
I think
sit too.
Chipper and Roy's the best pitcher in the game, and Chipper's one of the best hitters. So
Yeah, it's a shame that I Ken Griffey's one of my most favorite players in the history of everything, but I can't get his swing down ever. It's his vision is not great. They never give him juicy enough contact, and his swing and stance is just kind of tough. So, regardless, if you love Griffey cards, continue to love Griffey cards. I just think like I get why they wanted to implement a cap. At least I understand why they were thinking that way because they wanted to really calculate and control how fast people progress through this power creep that they reinstituted. And I get that. And I see the vision. The problem is if I play 12 hours a day and you play 3 hours a day, that's no disrespect to the 3 hours, people. 3 hours a day might even be too much for a lot of people. But if I play 12 and you play 3 every day, I should be farther along than you are. That's just simply how I view it. And that's not a skill conversation. That's not an entitlement conversation. That's just the nature of the time I'm putting into the game. And they kind of prevent you from progressing at that speed.
yeah, I agree. And I just think like the season, like someone can play 15 out. Like there's a glitch in the game, and I'm not here to just tell everyone, but you can hit the
Nobody do
XP
this
cap.
glitch.
Yeah, you can do the XP cap in 30 minutes. And for someone who plays 7 hours a day, like it's just you should reward the people that grind the game, in my opinion. Like I don't even care if you get the 99 a week. If you play that much, congratulations. Like you deserve it. But I just think the cap is just stupid in my opinion.
Maybe this is just my mentality. Other people are wired differently. We're all wired differently. But if I go up against somebody who's got one of the 99 bosses within 3 days, I would be like, shit, I got to play more. I got to get this card. And that's going to make me stay on the game more.
Yeah, that's how I think
That
about
might
it.
not
Yeah.
be real psychology, but that's how I think about it.
Yeah, I just like, do you want people to like when you hit the XP cap, why are you playing the game after that? There's no reason to.
Yeah. And there hasn't been enough auxiliary content because it's just packs to
Yeah.
actually bring us onto the game. Like if you finish the BR program, if you finish the event and you don't love playing ranked, like my interest in ranked has waned over the years, why am I playing? Why am I hopping
Yeah.
on the game?
I was on 21 and I'm not gonna I didn't really enjoy 21. Well, compared to this game, I loved it, but there were so many I was on it today and there were so many programs,
So
player
many, man.
programs, evolutions. And I'm not here to say the cards were amazing, but like you give people something to do, they're gonna do it. And that's something I've realized. And like where the evolutions was such a good idea. And the only idea that I've liked after, or I think they did introduce in 21 is parallels. That's something that stuck
Oh,
and
it's
I
excellent.
still really
Yeah.
enjoy it. But I just, other than that, there hasn't been something like, I'm like, yay, like, can't wait to do that other than play ranked for the 10th straight year.
And guys, we are recording this, like I said, on July 10th. We're recording this before the All-Star Weekend content begins to roll out. And I will say, maybe this is me being hopelessly dumb, a lot of promising stuff from that blog post. You saying the evolution thing reminded me to talk about this. I am thrilled that the evolution programs are back. We don't know what they actually look like yet, but those are so much fun. And we've been lacking legend power. They just are not giving us legends this year. I'm excited to use those 3 legends. I think them escalating the creep to give us 99 collections already in season 2 is really good. 95s and Team Affinity is something I was praying for, and I didn't think they'd do, but they did it. I don't know if this bodes well for the rest of the year, but at least this weekend looks good.
I'm afraid it's too late. I think this is just my assumption. I'm not mad they're doing it, but I just feel like they're in scramble because
They have to be,
NCAA
yeah.
Monday. I mean, it's the worst kept secret. Like I'm not making fun. Like I get what I would try to do the same thing, but that it just looks like they're throwing up a prayer to me.
But that's the thing is too is, and I said this one of my videos that came out this week. Even if MLB The Show 24 was the best version it's ever been, even if it played like week 1 this whole time, which if it played like week 1 this whole time, it might have been one of the best ones ever.
Everyone loves week 1 of this game, no matter
Yeah.
what year it is. It's crazy.
Even if it played like week 1 and was the best MLB The Show ever, people were still going to leave for college football. It did not matter how good this game was. It just means because this game isn't good, there will be a lot more people leaving quicker and longer. However, people were always going to turn this game off for a little bit to play college football. So the argument that college football killed MLB The Show is not correct, in my opinion, because people were always going to go do that.
I just think it's the amount it's gonna make the
Yes.
game die.
It's
Like,
the level at which it's
yeah.
going to, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be higher this year because I haven't met one person outside of a couple people on Twitter that are just dying to play this game when NCAA comes out. And I get like MLB, there's nothing they can do about it, but I just feel like the way they promoted the game too, and I get it's been 10 years, so it's not that hard, but there's just so much more hype and like I feel like EA knows how to promote. One of my biggest problems with that SDS is they don't, I feel like the promotion of the game has been terrible lately. I mean, they haven't done anything like the feature premieres for like 6 years. Like I know what I'm getting. Like what my biggest issue all year with this game was an hour on storylines and a feature premiere. That just drove me insane. And as a comp player, it shouldn't drive me insane, but it does. I still don't understand that. You could explain it to me for hours. I would still won't understand.
Yeah, innovation, like we talked about in game modes, and it just seems like we're lacking a little innovation. And I will always have hope that it comes. It might be blind hope. You all might make fun of me for always having hope. I'm not even saying I have hope because I have a relationship with SDS. I'm just saying I have hope because I love this franchise and I do truly hope someone cracks the code. It shouldn't be too hard. I'm hoping someone gets there.
Yeah,
Um,
like I'm wearing this shirt. Like I know some people at SDS and they're all great people and it's nothing personal. I just at the end of the day, all of us want a better game. And I think they're trying to release the best game. I don't think it's just a lack of effort.
they're not
It's
tanking it
just
on purpose.
yeah, yeah. We just need some fresh ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and on the subject of innovation, this is what we in the biz call a segue. I wanted to talk about your cool experiences with John Boy. I'm a big because I'm a Yankee fan, and they're obviously such a Yankee centric company. A big
Mhm.
fan of what the guys at John Boy do. Shelfie now we've infiltrated. You know, the MLB The Show community is now infiltrated John Boy, and they invited you to come do a bunch of stuff. You've been there what, twice, three times now? Like,
Twice, yeah.
what was it like? I mean, you create your own content, so that's not different for you, but what's it been like to be on that platform?
Hmm. Yeah, so I sent them an email. I was a DJ on my radio show at college, and I just thought maybe I'd send an email to see like if I could tour. I'm a comm major going into my sophomore year of college,
Oh,
so
cool.
I just thought like with my base, like with MLB The Show, I'd send an email and just see like if I can maybe visit one day and just see how they do it because I'm very interested in like the behind the scenes stuff of their creation. So I just
Production.
sent them
Yeah.
an email. A couple weeks later, I apparently sent it to the wrong email, and they were like, "We'd be happy to have you." So I went up the first time, filmed a bunch of content, and it was a very cool experience. Everyone was very nice, and I've watched them since 2019. So like like I knew everyone, especially Shelfie. Like seeing him just kind of made me feel a bit more comfortable since I had a previous relationship. So it's been really cool. They invited me back last month and hoping that like we can go back sometime after like maybe in August or September. We don't have like anything planned, but their highest viewed video on their gaming channel was me playing ranked. So I'm happy to see it's paid off for them and not just me.
Now, when you go there to film these videos and you know what videos you're filming, and I'm going to talk specifically about the BR runs that you did with Joe's and Jake's. Um, you know going into it that it's a pass the controller situation.
Mhm.
Do you have to hold back your frustration of, oh, just give me this thing and I'll win the damn game for us? Or is it just fun to kind of vibe with and see how different people play the game?
Yeah, in the 10-1, I'd say both. In the 10-1 game, yeah. Just seeing like there's just like habits I do. Like I always spin my PCI in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And when I like that doesn't matter. But when I see people not do that, it just like even comp players watching it just I don't know, it just stresses me out. And it was fun to see them play because I still like I was never like when I started playing, I wasn't good at the game. So it almost makes me feel younger again, watching people suck at the game. And sometimes I suck at the game too. But it was just an overall cool experience playing. I didn't think I'd play well since it was like a 60-inch TV, but that was also pretty fun.
It's interesting whenever I have the opportunity to either watch inexperienced players play or myself go play like a friend or a brother that my brother that I haven't, played against in a while. I think we as people who play this game so much and who are in my case decent at the game and you very good at the game, excellent at the game, we take for granted that people don't understand the intricacies of the game like we do. Like, does you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Like we're in the 0.1%, in my opinion. Like even us as like content creators, and I know like you're not the biggest competitive guy, but we're still in the 1% of the game. So like just seeing like people like when I went back, like Joe's hadn't even changed his DD team since I was first there, and it was exactly 2 months. So being able to like see those cards again is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's like even the most minute things, like your pitcher's struggling, just do a mound visit, it'll get some confidence back. Like people don't realize that's a thing. And I think that's one other thing that SDS doesn't do a great job doing, of having actual minute breakdowns of what every interaction actually does. Like I don't think you can find that anywhere. Like that's
Yeah,
just
there's a
stuff
lot of
we've
people
figured out.
There's a lot of people who don't know. You don't have to warm up your reliever anymore. You can just
No,
hit
which
warm
I
up and
think
then
is
put in game.
I don't and maybe this is me being dumb. I don't know what stretch and toss does.
I have no clue.
I don't know why we even have to have a function of warming them up anymore. We should just be able to bring them in because it doesn't matter.
That's something that makes me mad for no reason. Is I think you should have to warm up a reliever. Like I actually think there's some strategy in it. Like if I like go to my opponent's bullpen and see there's a lefty warming up, I'm gonna be thinking about that. But now you don't have to. You can just hit X or A 2 times, and there you go. And maybe that's just me being an old head, but I think there's strategy in who you warm up at what time.
You know, and then we can get so deep in the weeds about dead red quirk or pinch hitter quirk. There's no explanation about what the quirk actually does to your attributes. There's no
Yeah,
explanation of like these are things, and I'm talking for myself, but talking for everybody. Like, let's have these things explained for us.
yeah, I have no idea what a quirk does other than the 2 strike quirk. I know my PCI gets bigger, but I don't know like +5,
Well,
+10.
that's
Like,
what I want. I want the
yeah,
specific, even if it's a +1. I don't care. I just want to know.
I feel like they should have bronze, silver, diamond, and prestige quirks.
Oh,
I think
interesting.
like, yeah, and
But
I know I'm going back to like MLB 20 with the
interesting.
prestige, but I just think like a bronze should not have the same quirk as a diamond. I just think that's stupid.
That's a fair point and something I never thought about. Um, but going back to John Boy, I mean, what else did you learn about how they do things, like production wise? Did any of what they walked you through kind of spark something for you?
Yeah, there was a lot. I didn't realize how many people are there doing different things at the same time. Like, I guess I should have thought of that, but like, it impressed me of how much they're working like around the clock on different things. Like, they have room like an editing area, just film area. It's just everything was like, I would say it's organized chaos in there. That's the way I would describe it. It was all very structured, but not structured. And everyone was themselves. Like, there's people who just like the floor hockey, like they play floor hockey just during the day. Like they're just normal people. Like it's not like a suit and tie job, like where you just sit around and do the same thing every day. They're all just like having fun. And that's something that really stuck out to me is like they're working, but you can have fun while working hard.
Yeah, they look like they have so much fun, and I think that's why they get so much work done, because they understand from a culture standpoint, like we work in sports, we're here to have fun, we do have work to do, but we get rewarded by, having the opportunity to do all these other things when the work is completed.
Mhm.
They just look like they have a blast.
Yeah, and maybe they were putting a charade on for me. I don't know. They could be, but both times I was there, it really stuck out to me. Like it's always smiling faces, and I know it's not always like that, like in meeting rooms, but it just looked like a great environment.
And I don't know how you'd be able to measure it, but did you see any like increase in anything for your own content from
Oh
being in
yeah,
John Boy?
I got a ton of followers
Oh,
after,
sweet.
especially that video, and that wasn't even the main reason I wanted to go. Like I just kind of wanted to see, like I'm always interested in how other people like grow their channels, and that was really the main reason. I just wanted to see like different perspectives because I don't want to just limit myself to competitive stuff.
And I mean, you don't have to tell us where you're going to school for your own reasons. Keep it private. But like, what city are you in going to school? Are you in Manhattan or
No,
Jersey area?
I'm in PA. I go
Oh,
to
okay.
Elizabethtown. It's a small
Oh, cool.
D3, and it actually worked out. There's a Amtrak station right there, so it was pretty easy to get up there.
Nice. Yeah. I love everything John Boy does, and I think one of the things that they could do better at, and why I'm glad you've been involved, and why I'm glad Shelfie's there, is they're a baseball network. I know they're a sports conglomerate, but like baseball's their their niche. I feel like they need to be doing more with MLB The Show in some way. So I'm glad you were there to spread the knowledge a little bit.
Yeah, and I think I hope I've helped them a bit, like just giving them some fresh ideas. Like there's so much you can make on MLB The Show content wise. Like it doesn't just have to be an online ranked game. Like, and it comes back to those mini games. Is I enjoy doing that more than playing ranked because I played thousands of ranked games over the years, but there's just so much creative things you can do with like little things.
Yeah, John Boy, if you need a MLB The Show podcast on your network, hit your boy up. I'm available. But yeah, I think it's cool. The first time I saw you there, I thought it was just because now that Shelfie was there, he was like, I know a dude who's super great. But that's cool to hear that you reached out and they were so receptive to having you there.
Yeah, that's something I've done like with a lot of the things. Like Elgato, I just reached out. The only company that reached out to me first was Luminosity, and I was pretty stunned when that happened. But I just think like you're just emailing. Like it's not like you got to face to face like ask them for something. Like I just think shooting your shot pretty much it's paid off for me.
Yeah. And speaking of luminosity and shooting shot and esports and this and that, I wanted to take this last, whatever it is, 20, 25 minutes to talk about what's coming up for you. I mean, we talked right before we started recording. You just got your ticket all set up to go to Tampa for it was Sunburst, it's called, right? I always accidentally call it Starburst because Starburst, but the Sunburst Invitational. Last year, it was such a cool, fun spectacle. So incredible that we're all like, why the heck doesn't every team put something like this on? So shout out to the Rays, who the Yankees are playing right now, and I'm going to check the score. And is it going to make me sad? Is it going to make me sad? What the hell's the score? I'll check in a second. It's in a commercial right now. But awesome tournament, incredible atmosphere. Shout out to all the good players. What has your experience been like now, the second year you're in it, progressing even farther?
Yeah, so before that, the MLB The Show tournament, the summer circuit just happening, being able to get second in that's been the most proud I've ever been. Even in a tournament I've won, never been more proud of myself for getting second in something. But going back to the Rays, it's very well ran. Yuki, big shout out to him.
Shout out Yuki. I don't know Yuki, but I see him on Twitter all the time. Shout out Yuki.
Yeah, he's done a great job. And the Rays is, how do I explain this? It's the most fun and least fun I've had at the same time in my life. There's so much strategy in it. And I never thought I would say this, but I love playing at Tropicana Field.
Ooh.
It's just great. I mean, it's terrible and great at the same time. I just think it's so new and different that a lot of people enjoy it. And to be honest, I was terrible with the Rays last year and early in this year. Like I lost games 4-2, 14-4 to players I thought I was better than, and that's not like coming off as a cocky way, but I just don't think I should be getting mercied in tournaments. Like that's just something I pride myself in. And I turned it around when I went to Xbox and I ended up winning the qualifier. Just want to give a shout out to Cafe. We love you. It was very hard to see you lose 3 straight. But it's just one of those things. It takes so much mental grind in it. There's just going to be innings where you make great swings and they're not going to get down. And it's, do you keep taking good swings? Because they'll eventually fall. But there can be 4 straight innings, 5 straight innings. You can take great swings. It doesn't matter. So if you can just keep grinding and grinding and grinding, that's really what I focus on. I was playing a Vision, who's a great pitcher. I was hitting so well the whole tournament. I was down 4-2 in the 8th. And I just was like, I feel like I played well, but I'm not. I have 2 runs. So yeah. I don't know if I played well. And I ended up hitting a 3-run homer to win 5-4. It's just one of those things. Win ugly, it doesn't matter. Like you just got to find a way to win. And it doesn't matter if it's 2-1, 12-11, 18-17. It's just, you just have to find a way to win.
And for people who don't know how the tournament works, games are locked at Tropicana. It is live series Tampa Bay Rays versus live series Tampa Bay Rays. So you are using, for better or worse, the Tampa Bay Rays roster, which, if we're being honest, no disrespect to the Sunburst, is not exactly filled with superstars. So you learn the quirks of the roster. You fall in love with Aaron Savale, who is now on the Brewers. You fall in love with Zach Eflin. All these random cards that you'd never sniff, you're using. I mean, for me, even as a Yankee fan, Brandon Lau is one of my favorite live series and swings. I think that's pretty much universal at this point. But what has it been like to learn how to use these guys. And some of them literally have like 30 vision
Mhm.
on legend. Like, what has that been like to navigate?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to admit this, but I know way too much about the Tampa Bay Rays roster.
I
It's
love that though. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I that's one of the most fun things about it is I've never spent so many hours just thinking about lineup construction in my life. Like I just there's four good hitters on the Rays. I think Rosarena is pretty good, even though he's been downgraded. But B Lau, Brandon Lau, Josh Lowe. I don't know why they're pronounced differently with the same last name. That bothers me. Isak Paredes, he's great. And then it gets bad fast. And
And even Josh Lowe, who has a great swing, like a great
lefty
swing,
lefty, he's
his
impossible.
his attributes stink.
Yeah, righty, he's pretty good, but lefty, you might as well just
Yeah.
like I have stole like more times in race tournaments than I've stole like in 5 years playing DD. And that's something like in the game one of the finals, I did a double steal. I don't think I've done a double steal in my life, but
Oh,
I'm like,
if I ever have to double steal, I get petrified of like, oh
yeah,
God, this is not going to go well for
but
me.
I had Ben Rortvet at the plate and he is double play king. And I would rather get thrown out doing a double steal than ground into a double play. It's just like I'm very aggressive in race tournaments because why not? Like I don't want my endings to end on double plays, and they still do a lot because Yandy Diaz can't elevate a baseball. But
Oh yeah, his swing is not my favorite.
yeah, it's so much more like that goes into it. Like a lot of pitch sequences. Like sometimes you can just throw sliders low and away. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the most predictable pitch. I don't care if you know I'm throwing it because you're not hitting it. So it's just one of those things. And I love stealing. I know who gets good jumps, like Jose Caballero, great base stealer.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people bat serial leadoff or fifth. I have them in the 9 hole. I'm still kind of old school. I like speed him in the 9 hole. So, and Randy Rosarena has been a leadoff home run for me a lot. So I have like my lineup down. It's something I've just practiced and see what I like and whose swing I like, whose swing I don't like. And even the bench, like their bench is like perfect with the speed and a lot of secondaries. And
They have a
it's
lot
just,
of people who play a lot of secondaries and a lot of platoon guys, like a ton of platoon guys.
yeah, Med Rosario has been great off the bench for me.
Richie
It's just,
Palacios is a good swing too.
Oh, Palacios, I mean, he's hit six for me at every tournament. And another thing I do is I put Richie in left and DH Rosarena because
That's
of
smart.
reaction. And like people just don't think of that, but it's very important raise, especially when you're getting angled. I think my right fielder, like the fielding matters so much because you're going to throw so many sliders away to righties. So I want someone in right who's not getting the worst jumps of all time.
So without revealing your secrets, because I don't want you to do that, what are some things though that you have learned, like about playing with live series guys and timing up someone with bad contact, bad vision, or Zach Eflin is like the bane of everybody's existence. Like how have you learned, or what have you learned from this process?
You can't think home run with a lot of these cards. I'm looking single. We have like nicknames for the gaps because I mean in Rays, you're just not going to elevate or you're not hitting home runs with a lot of these
You
cards.
really
So
have to pull the ball to the pin. You're not
mhm,
hitting it to center, and the power alleys don't have much power. They're gap
yeah,
alleys. It's
especially at
hard.
the trop. If you go
Yeah,
dead center, you can hit perfect to center. It doesn't matter.
yeah.
It's very hard because I'm not really thinking like I want to hit it into the right center gap with this card. Like if you think that, it's just gonna bother you, and you're just gonna aim way too much with your PCI, and it'll throw you off. But it's just something like I'm not. I try to be a lot more patient. In Rays, I like getting the pitch count up, but sometimes I love hitting Aaron Savali, so I just want to jump on him. But with him out, it's going to be very interesting because Zach Eflin could get traded before August 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Armstrong, I think, is going to get traded.
They
And
just
that's
traded
another
Phil
one.
Maton. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask this next. I know you're not necessarily thinking about it right now, but the semifinals are the day after the deadline. You could do
Mhm.
all the prep in the world, and 5 of your best, most favorite guys could be gone.
Yeah, and especially with the Rays, like maybe selling. Sean Armstrong is he's like the most strategic reliever because his clutch is like 20. So if you bring him in with someone on in scoring position, PCI is humongous. So I try to like bring him in with no one on,
He's a
bottom of the
clean inning
order.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just add strategy. Like I save Jason Adam for as long as I can because he can give me multiple innings, and I really want Jason Adam to be out on the mound in the ninth inning. That's something I really one because Pete Fairbanks, I mean, just ball, 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 ball. I have no clue where it's going with him. So if I can get him in like a low leverage situation, that's something I think about a lot too, is low leverage, medium leverage, high leverage. Like if I need an out, who am I going to in the fifth inning? When I like Jason Adams is my closer, but it's just like Poche, better clutch than Clevenger, but Clevenger's probably a better lefty. So when do you bring him in? Poche's great for one out. There's just so much that goes into it.
Is there any thought, or even are you allowed to use an opener? Like if you wanted to start Sean Armstrong for an inning, are you allowed to do that?
We can, but we can't bring starters out of the pen.
Oh,
So
so
that,
even if you declare an opener, you still can't do that.
yeah, that's
Okay.
something I've thought about, and I actually wanted to do that. Like Sean Armstrong, I think would be pretty good. Well, maybe without with the clutch, but I would definitely use an opener. But if we can't bring, that's something that makes this very hard too, is you can't bring a starter out of the pen. So say Savali's getting rocked in the first, there's nothing you can do. You just got to get 2, 3 innings out of them.
Because they don't
And I
have a
kind
deep
of,
enough bullpen, a live
yeah,
series bullpen to actually give you reliable
I
length.
kind of like it because it just, you can't just go to like, you can't start Savali then bring in Eflin after 3 batters. So
Yeah.
it adds more strategy. And sometimes, like I know, like he's on Savali. Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. But he's on Eflin. I can tell already. But you can't just go to your pen immediately. You got to get 27 outs. So
Now, did you talk to the guys who made it to the championship last year about like experience or advice or anything? Like, you don't need advice on how to play, obviously. You know how to play the game, but just in terms of like handling the pressure of that, have you talked to them?
yeah, I talked to Zazzy a lot. He was definitely the best Rays player last year, and I was 1 game away from Tampa, so I wasn't like that bad last year. But it's gonna be different. A lot of people know me as I need like my music. I need the lights off in my room to play good. It's just one of those things. So I'm excited to play out of my comfort zone. And like I've played Alex for years, but I never played him when he's sitting 6 feet away from me. So it's gonna be weird, like hearing like having a crowd, announcers. It's going to be different, but I'm excited to see that or use that opportunity, and hopefully I can take advantage of it.
So you got to start preparing. You need like a disco ball in the room. You got to put house music going on. You got to start going crazy while you're playing right now.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I've sometimes blare me. I don't even know if we can wear headphones. So I know we can
Well, that's
bring
a
our
good point. I don't
controller.
know.
So just having like things that I feel comfortable with, like my edge controller, that's something I'm going to try to focus on, is control what I control, what I can control, and
Yeah.
what makes me comfortable. Like I don't have a lucky shirt or anything, but like having my controller, having my PCI, like at the end of the day, it's still the same game, no matter where you're playing it. So if I can just think that way, I think I'll be okay.
Anybody going with you to support you there?
No, I thought about it, but I kind of want to go alone. And
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, there wasn't really much thought. Like I'm coming home at 1 in the morning, so I don't know if my parents want to go through that. But um, I I think it'll be pretty fun to go alone, and I almost don't want the pressure of my parents sitting right behind me. That would, I know they'll be watching, but I don't need that.
That's fair. What has their support been like? Just, I mean, it's clearly a passion for you, but when you can turn a passion into such a competitive way to earn a little money, what has their support been like?
Yeah, it was changed very quickly when the money came in, and
Yeah.
I
Oh, I'm sure it
completely
does.
understand. Yeah, but it's very important because, like, especially in college, like I was in a dorm, so I came home on weekends a lot to make content. So, it's been great. I can't thank them enough, and a lot of other like my friends too. Like, it's been kind of a whirlwind because when I first started playing, I just played because I love baseball. Like,
Mhm.
I'm a huge baseball nerd. So it's been great, but I can't thank them enough. And especially like when I was super young, like I I see a lot of people, young people handle themselves kind of stupid in this community, and that's something I pride
No
myself in.
brainer, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just like I'm gonna fall off at this game someday. I'm very aware of that, but people can remember me for being a good person in the community more than like me winning. That means more to me because that won't run out, but me being good at the game is gonna run out.
And I do want to say, and it might just be because you've gotten older, you're in college now. The first time I had you on the podcast, you were by no means a bad guest, but I could tell you were very shy. And
Yeah, I'm
you're
still very shy, but
you're still reserved, and there's nothing wrong with being reserved, but I could tell that you've opened up and like you're a little more talkative, and like I could just tell that you're progressing.
yeah, especially early on, like I would only talk to my friends like I didn't like hate anyone in the community, but like anyone I disagreed with, it was just like, oh, they're stupid. Why, how could you think that? But now that I've gotten older, like, and just anything in life, like I look at the other side a lot more, and it's just, I'm always going to be a shy person. I wouldn't say I'm like introverted, but like I've talked to my friends, and that's still like, I just like, even people that I know are really cool. It's just hard for me to open up. So I have my friends and family, and that's just how I am. Like, I just like being, I almost like enjoy like playing this game. Like, a lot of people are in Discord playing this game with like 8 people in their ear, and I don't think I could take 10 seconds of it.
I can do the Discord grinding when it's not competitive. Like if it's like night one of the game and we're all having fun and we're like doing different stuff, I'm totally down for that. It's one of my favorite nights of the year every year. But yeah, I mean, playing with that many people talking a
Oh,
competitive style, which I don't mean to say to make you more nervous about being in front of all those people playing, but like it's different. And I don't know if I can handle it. You, I'm
yeah.
positive can handle
Like, there's a couple friends I've like in Hina, I've been in Discord with for years, just like watching our games, and it's just almost like a comfort factor. But like, I could not have some random I've never talked to in a Discord call with me watching ranked seasons, or I might just like have a panic attack.
it. Well, I want to wish you the best of luck.
Mhm.
I don't have a favorite, but I will say only one of the 4 remaining competitors has been on this podcast, let alone twice. So maybe we do have a favorite. Um, Best of luck. Go win some money. Go do us proud. Don't get distracted by Dimu screaming every home run, because I'm sure that's going to be something you're going to have to fight as well. I love Dimu, not a cheap shot.
Yeah, I love him too.
But listen, do your best. We all know you're a good player. You don't have a single thing to prove to the community. You're only just proving to yourself. So we all know you're good. Um, I guess before we go, if for some reason anybody's not following you, where should they be following you? How can they watch the semifinals of the championship? Just let us know.
Yeah, it's Kriner on all social medias. It's sometimes a bit different, but if you just search up Kriner, you'll find me. And it'll be on the Rays Twitch channel, and I think their YouTube channel. They'll promote it. If you just follow Rays on Twitter, they'll give you the right place to watch it. But it's going to be August 1st and 2nd, Thursday and Friday at noon, I think. So make sure you tune in and support all the other guys in there. They're all great people. So don't just root for me, please.
Yeah, it's an electric atmosphere. Last year, Scuffy and Thune did just such an incredible job with the broadcast. I'm excited to see Scuffy and Dimu. They'll be promoting it as well. So if you want to find them there, yeah, go do your best, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for.
thank you.
No, of course. Thank you so much for being back, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the show, the podcast. We will be back next week with more of like a content conversation. I had to pre-record this one. That's why we're not talking about the All-Star stuff. That's neither here nor there. But thank you guys. Appreciate you all. I'll see you next time.